Hello and welcome back to the channel and back to Out of the Park Baseball 2023. You read the title, you see the year here in the middle left top of the screen, where it is a 2015 historical franchise with the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm going to do this series going into Out of the Park Baseball 24. Very excited for it. Get me back into the game. When it comes to the series, I'd like to maybe do as much episodes as possible in the time that I have going into the show, not the show, sorry, Out of the Park Baseball 24, and just have a good time here. A little longer episodes where I skip a little more, show you maybe a little less, but still the big stuff here. And that's what I'm thinking for this series. First, settings. It's the same exact settings as always. OOTP Classic, OOTP Classic. Other than that, those settings, normal as usual. Stats AI, is stuff I have based on 2016. Everything else is the exact same. So if you want to see it, go back to my Colorado Rockies series. I show the settings there. Settings are boring to show. This series takes a while to set up. So I'm not really going to show it because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. Same thing here. I had to edit a whole bunch of free agency to get guys back on their correct teams with their correct contracts. The one move I did make, though, going into this season was I did sign Alex Burnett to the Phillies. I think he can be an interesting guy. And without further ado, let's look at the roster going into opening day. Pitching, we got Cole Hamels, 21-year-old Aaron Nola, who I decided to call straight up, Aaron Harang, Tyler Gilbert, and Colin Clevin, who I think is not very good, but we needed a fifth starter who's not 18 years old. Aaron Harang, he is super, super, super mediocre and old. If he gives us anything of value, we will trade him. Cole Hamels, he's really good. His contract's up at the end of this year. We're going to have to trade him. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And one thing is that the trades are kind of messed up in this game. And that's the one thing I didn't fix is like guys who got traded from their teams at the deadline. The guys who they got traded for are on that roster. So like we have guys like Jared Eichhoff and Jorge Alfaro and Nick Williams from the Hamels trade. And it's like, do I really want to fix all that and go through all 30 teams? No. Sorry about that. Then, bullpen, Elvis Araujo, lefty specialist for us. Luis Garcia. Jake Diekman, powerful lefty. Alex Burnett, who I just talked about. Justin DeFreitas. Jenmar Gomez. Jonathan Papelbon, whose contract's up at the end of this year. We're going to try to trade him. And Ken 100, Miles, Giles. Don't want to trade him like in real life because I get why we did it. We got Vinny Velasquez, and the Phillies did it because we just didn't need him. He was a unneeded luxury. But I don't know. I think it's good to have a guy like that, sell some uniforms, and he's young. I didn't see a real point to trade him. It also stunk too because I was young, was a big fan. I'm like, gosh darn it, why is he traded? Carlos Ruiz, 2 years left on his deal. He's our starting catcher going into the year. Either going to trade him this year or next. Ryan Howard, his contract's messed up. I might have to fix that. Probably not going to trade him because he's probably not going to give us much value. Love you, big piece. Chase Utley, contract's up this year. He might be the best overall guy on the roster. We are definitely going to be moving him for as much as we can get. Maikel Franco, 21 years old, had a cup of coffee last season. I hope we can develop him into a really, really good player. Freddie Galvis, not as good in the game as he is real life defensively, but he's fine, I guess. Ben Revere, he's a guy I like to have in all my series, and it's cool starting out with a guy like him already, a guy that can just put the ball in play, doesn't strike out. He's a guy that OOTP likes a lot. Odubel Herrera, man, when this guy was young, originally coming up in the MLB, 2015, 2016, he was an all-star. He looked like he could be so freaking good. Obviously didn't keep his head on straight. Whole bunch of stuff happened with Odubel. Hopefully in this series he can become something. And then Roman Quinn in right field. He's a super Ryan Sandberg type of guy. I'm going to keep him as a starter for now. If he really sucks, I'll just send him down. Cam Rupp does not look like that. There we go. He's going to be the backup catcher. He's real solid backup. Not too much as a starter, though, because look at that. 45. Ew. As a starting catcher. And you also see OSA ratings. We don't have a scouting director. No team does. One thing I will show settings-wise quickly is that if you want to be able to scout in this stuff, you got to do this. You got to use complete scouting system with normal accuracy. That's how it is in the base game. Back, though, right in pitching, Cesar Hernandez. He is going to be our backup second baseman. He could actually be a real solid player for us. He'd slot in when Utley gets traded. Grady Sizemore. He's a backup left-handed hitter for us. He can play the corner outfield positions. Real good dude in the locker room. It seems like he's good to have. And finally, rounding out the backups, 31. Wow, I thought Frenchie was a little older than that. Jeff Francoeur, who was last up in the MLB with the Padres. When was his last full season? Was it with the Royals? I'm guessing. Royals. Yep, there it is. Wow, he was solid in 2011. Man. But yeah, Frenchie, he's going to be our backup outfielder. Got a strong arm, can still hit slightly. So yeah, organizationally, here's what we got. Nick Fantiwell, 18, up in AAA. Top prospects, let's look at that. We go all players in the minor leagues. Aaron Nola, Odubel Herrera, they're our top two. I already talked about them. Rhys Hoskins, number 3. He looks like he can be real good if he can develop the contact. That's what we're hoping that he does. What stinks, though, when it comes to development is low intelligence. Sorry. So I hope he can develop that. Zach Eflin, wow, my voice is not cooperating. He looks like he can be okay. Very bad movement, already capped out. J.P. Crawford, first-round pick. Again, if he can develop the contact a little, he could be super good. I do have some faith in him, though, because he's got high work ethic. Then Tommy Joseph, when he was still a catcher before concussions forced him to move to first base and eventually the outfield. And a few other guys down here that I'm sure I'll talk about another time. Also, Jacob Wozpeck, never heard of him. Same with Sutter McCollum. Victor Arano was a good pitcher for a bit. Rodolfo Castro, Edgar Cabral, those names bring back some memories, along with Franklin Colomb. Wow. And Edibray Ramos. Adonis Medina. Jake Thompson, Cornelius Randolph, just guys who never really worked out for the Phillies. Some 4A guys who could come up. Jared Eichhoff for sure is one. Dylan Cousins, he's a guy I'd like to hopefully be able to develop a little bit. He did not work out in the MLB. Andres Blanco is a fine backup. Cody Ashe's one. Brian Bogusevic can be a fine backup corner outfielder. If I just sort it by age, you'll see Jerome Williams there, Dustin McGowan, Kevin Correa. He was a Giants guy, right? He was an all-star in 2011 with Pittsburgh. I thought he was on the Giants. Yeah, he was. See, I know what I'm talking about. And Jeff Williams was a Dodger, right? Yeah, when was the last time he was in the MLB? Wow. 2002. Yeah, I don't know why I know that. You know why I know that? Because it was him and Chad Billingsley, who were both Dodgers, who were in the organization. Chad Billingsley, a lot of injuries. Wow, that brings back memories too. Adam Lowen, who was a pitcher and then a hitter, and now is a pitcher again. So that's cool. Jordan Danks, he's a fine backup outfielder. Was he on an MLB roster? Yeah, he was on the White Sox for a while. That's right. Chase Darno, he gives us positional versatility. He's fine too. But without further ado, I think that's a pretty good look at us. Preseason predictions. They got us finishing 66 wins, which was better than we did in real life. In 2014, Iwakuma. He was a good pitcher for a while. We finished in 2014 with 73 wins, so it would be worse, but we are a worse team than we were that year. We're 10th in MLB minor league rankings with the 7th overall prospect in Aaron Nola, then 51st in Herrera, and Rhys Hoskins rounding us out at 71st. Now, I think that's pretty good. And like I said, this is going to be a fast-paced franchise. So, without further ado, here's what I want to do. I want to go probably sim until maybe the end of April, middle of August, maybe the 7th here could be a good spot to go to. See where we're at and see if we need to make any big moves. So, I'll be right back. I did go a few games past where I said I would. I made a few waiver claims. Efren Navarro decided to claim him. He has been struggling a little bit. He was actually starting at first base over Ryan Howard, and I didn't notice for a bit. It's not that big of a deal. Howard is struggling, though. The team as a whole, though, 15 and 18. I also brought in Jason Eli off waivers. He's doing real good. What stinks, though, both Maikel Franco, who was hitting really well, and Cole Hamels, who was pitching really well, both got injured, with Hamels having a much more severe injury than Franco. Still not terrible. 8 weeks with a rotator cuff strain. I'll then put him on a little rehab assignment and bring him back up. Cody Ashley has taken over at third base. And actually done a pretty solid job in the few games he started so far. Grady Sizemore's been good in small doses, but it's really been Odubel Herrera, man. He has been real solid for us. Real happy with him. Carlos Ruiz has been fine. Not adding really any power, but he's hitting well. Would like to have more from Chase Utley. And then pitching-wise, Aaron Orang got off to a hot start. He's cooled down slightly, but hey, if he can give us this throughout the season, I'd be super happy with that. Papelbon's been real good, which is really good for us, as he's another guy I'd like to trade. So overall, I'm not mad, because I look at it like this, right? Let's say we stay consistent 5 games under 500 until the trade deadline, and then we ship off everyone, and most of them are doing good, then we'll be bad, which is okay. I'm okay with that this year. I don't know why I just focused on Odubel Herrera. Our whole lineup is pretty much lefties right now, which is not perfect for both righties and lefties, that is. Roman Quinn had a small injury, so I just sent him down after he got healthy. When it comes to available guys, Craig Stamen is there. Waiver wire, Dan Straley, Bencourt. Rafael Bencourt, wow, 40 years old, still kicking, man, still kicking. Dan Straley, he's interesting, but again, do I really want him? Stream fly ball? No. Justin Moore, no, and Brad Ziegler are both on the block. We should probably add a few of our guys to the block, like Utley, Howard, Ruiz, Harang, Papelbon, and Hamels. So we're going to add all those guys to the trade block. We look at important events coming up. Nothing really to the beginning of June. Or no, is that? Sorry, that is July. So that's where we'll go. We'll go to the beginning of July and come right back. It is the 18th of July, 2015, and your Philadelphia Phillies have fallen off a cliff at 32-60. And our first big move of the series happened, but first let's look at the All-Star game. You can see it up there. Prospects game. Show you everyone on here. Just quickly going through. Do we have anybody? Did I miss somebody? Did not see anyone there for us. Oh, there it is. Edebrey Ramos. Okay, then. Normal All-Star game again. I'll go slow for you so you can see everyone who made it. Miggy. Oh, my goodness. 358. Calm down. I was about to say young man, but I mean middle-aged man? Sure. National League. We got Jonathan Papelbon. And that looks like it's it. Probably could have had Odubel, maybe. I don't know. But you see right here, Cole Hamels has been traded along with Tommy Joseph for Nick Castellanos, Will Allen, and Gabe Hemmer. Hemmer and Allen are not too important. Allen's just a fine backup catcher. Hemmer, he's a fine depth arm. But Nick Castellanos is a monster of a bat here in Out of the Park Baseball. And hopefully in real life he can get back to what he was doing a few years back. Cole Hamels, he came back from injury, went 1 game, 7 innings, or 7 2/3 innings for us, gave up 3 runs. That's a good way to go out. Not as good as a no-hitter, but a good way to go out. No-hitter is what he did in real life. And we traded Tommy Joseph along with him. So for the present, that means that Jared Eichhoff, he's come up to be the 5th starter. And that right now, Jeff Francoeur is going to be our right fielder because we waived Efren Navarro because he's doing pretty bad. And Castellanos is just a backup right now. But in the coming days, that'll probably change, considering we're going to be making more trades. But checking in here, we're about halfway through the year, 32 and 60, so a little over halfway. Here are the numbers, what we got. You see ERA leaders right there. Giles, Gomez, Papelbon. Our top one starters-wise, Burnett, when he did start, and Nola. Sierra, though, this is an important one. It's like fit, but it also takes into account like the ballpark and the lineups and all that. Nola doing the best. Gilbert right here too, only 21 years old. Tyler Gilbert, so I'm happy to see that. Ken Giles as well. Who's fipping the best? Well, it's Giles and then Papelbon. Nola's up there, and the worst has been Gonzalez. Aaron Harang, he's here, and he's definitely struggled as of late. I'm hoping he can give us one good start, make the numbers look good, and maybe we could get something for him. I don't know. Ken Giles, he's been real good. Papelbon, it's nice having that all-star. We're going to try to trade him as well. Offensively, we'll check WRC plus Odubel Herrera. He's obviously been solid for us this year. 307 batting average. I mean, he's just done what we've wanted him to do. Cesar Hernandez, he's been a solid backup. Jeff Francoeur, same deal. Cam Rupp, same deal. Freddie Galvis as a starter has impressed me with his bat. I'm very happy with what he's done. And Miguel Franco in his rookie year, he slowed down, but he's been fine. Chase Utley and Ryan Howard have heated up a little bit as of late. And Carlos Ruiz, well, he has not. In fact, he's not even starting against righties or lefties. He's playing every 3rd day. Let's simulate through today. It's a loss for us. I'm going to simulate a few more days. I'll simulate past the trade deadline, and I'll show you where we're at. The trade deadline has concluded, and one thing I noticed is that the amateur draft is in December for some reason, and I don't know what to do necessarily. I'm going to keep it as is, right? And then what I might do is if it's the guys that were picked in 2015 with the order of 2015, right? Then what I'll do is I'll move it to where it was in 2016, and obviously it'd be what the order would be in this universe. So like we'd have the first pick, I believe, for the 2016 draft. So if that makes sense, that's my plan. It'll make sense once I do it. But let's go over what we did, what happened during the deadline for us. And I think the best way to do that will probably be transactions, complete transactions log, major. I know there's one way to look at trade log. Boom, there it is. So if we go back a little bit Here you see 7/18. This is where we made the Castellanos trade. Then we made a lot of moves on the 21st and 22nd. First, we traded Chase Utley and Jose Tavares for Philip Pfeiffer and Jarrett Cunningham. Cunningham, he's a depth guy. Pfeiffer, I could see him potentially earning a way into the bullpen. It's a way to give Utley a shot at a title, as my voice is completely collapsing on me. I'm going to have to rest it after this. Then we traded the big piece. I was able to work out a deal with an AL team, which I thought made sense. We're retaining 95% of his contract, which means next year we're going to pay him. The year after, we're going to pay him. And then if they decide to keep him, then we pay him 95% of that $25 million. If they decide not to, then we got to pay him 95% of the $10 million buyout. What do we get? We got Preston Beck, again, just a kind of depth guy. This guy, Ryan Cordell, could be an interesting guy as a guy to play all over the field. Just be a utility guy for us, which is always valuable to have. Then we traded $70,000 in cash, Giando Trump, who is nothing really for us, and Jonathan Papelbon for Sean Armstrong. Armstrong, I think, will slide right into our bullpen very well. He's only 24. He's on the minimum, only 33 days of service. So I think that's a good deal for us. And that's it for the trades we made. The guys we kept, Aaron Harang, just didn't find anything really that I liked. And nobody wanted Chooch. Nobody wanted Ruiz. So he's just going to be a backup for us this year, and then he can't really catch anymore. So after the season, I might just have to buy out his contract. Other than that, though, that's really it for today. We're 38-66. A quick look at the numbers. Show you Odubel has been our best guy with stick. Then Freddie Galvis for full-time guys. Sizemore's been good. Same with Hernandez. Yeah, here we go. This is the guys we currently got. We did call up Rhys Hoskins at 22 years old. He was ready to go. We called him up. And then the pitching is subject to change with guys like Jared Eichhoff and Ben Lively down there, Justin DeFreitas. They all could be called up. They probably all will be called up in September. I believe the September call-ups at this time was still 40 people. Look at the pitching numbers. We'll just go Sierra. Severino Gonzalez had 8-inning outing. Oh my goodness. And then a really good outing. So hey, maybe we got some in Severino Gonzalez. I doubt it though. Nola, he's been real solid as a rookie. Giles has been real solid. I'm not terribly mad at Gilbert. And I mean, yeah, we're not a good team. We're the worst team in baseball. What do you expect? Base running, we're 7th, which is nice. Bullpen ERA 11th, which is cool. And our zone rating 7th. So, hey, I'll take some of that. I'm CJ Ambrose. I'll be back. Next episode, we'll finish out the season and go into the 2016, 2015 going into 16 off season.